So one of the most important things that I like to stress is using just two aiders. And by two aiders, I mean you just have one aider on each daisy chain. You have two aiders total. And the whole time, you've just got your daisy chain attached to the aider, and you're moving like that. The reason I don't like to have four aiders is if you have a four aider setup where you have two aiders on each side, you have way more cluster. And what happens over time is they intertwine when you're moving them back and forth. You end up with these kind of giant messes that you then have to take apart to kind of clear. And you spend a lot of your time dealing with clusters instead of moving efficiently. Another big thing that you run into is what do you do with all these aiders when you want to kind of just bust off on 30 feet of 5/7 free moves? Suddenly you have this giant cluster of stuff that you then have on the side of you. If you're in a chimney, it gets in the way. So it's really important to streamline and just have one aider on each side, like so. Now, one of the big complaints people have with this setup is they say it's not very comfortable because when you're standing on the piece, you're now only standing on one foot. For one thing, if you're doing this all correctly, you should really only be standing here for a minute or two as you place the next piece and keep going. The one exception where I could see this being an issue is if you're doing really hard aid like A4 and you're replacing lots and lots of copperheads. In that situation, sometimes I'll have kind of an extra aider that I'll keep on the back, where if I think I'm going to be hanging around forever, I'll clip an extra aider there so that I can have something for my feet. But in general, you don't need to, because especially in aiders like these Yates aiders, you can kind of keep 2 feet here often, while you're reaching for the next piece, step up briefly in 1 foot. Another trick you can do is you can kind of take your foot, and you have your foot in the aider, and then you'll take the heel of the other foot and kind of stick your feet together like that. You can then take your right foot and put a little pressure on it, and in that way you're transferring a little bit of the weight onto 2 feet. You still have, maybe 70 or 80% on the foot that's in the aider, but the other foot's, taking maybe 20%.